Hey, what's up? We're back to review UFC 220, and fuck, man, that was a great main card. I mean, what do I say? A lot of knockouts, a lot of great fights on that main card. It kicked off with Rob Font against Thomas Almeida, and that first round, Thomas Almeida was getting lit up like usual in the beginning of that first round. Rob Font was getting that overhand right going. Um, he was like, threatening with some takedowns, then clinching, making Almeida work, making him think. And Almeida was trying to land that leg kick, come forward with the right hand, and then Font kept doubling up on his jab. He kept Almeida on the outside. Font looked really good, man. But then as the round started to get around 2 minutes, Almeida started to start walking him down. He was starting to seem like he was getting rough on uncomfortable, pushing him backwards. And the end of that round ended with Almeida actually pushing the pressure, and I actually gave him that round. It was a very close round, but in that second round, man, Font was landing a 1-2, and Almeida came forward with the left hand. Almeida, got dropped with that left hand by Rob Font, and then Font, went after him, put him against the cage. He landed some body shots, scored a takedown. Almeida got right back up, and it seemed like he recovered a little bit from the knockdown. But when Font stepped in that pocket and slipped that left hand, landed the right head kick, ooh, that was nasty, man. Then he landed some really nice uppercuts, man, in the end of the fight. And I don't know, that's 3 straight losses now for Thomas Almeida. I believe so. I believe it's either 3 straight losses or it's 3 out of 4. It might be 3 out of 4. Yeah, he had to win over Albert Morales in the middle of there, but that's 3 out of 4 losses, 2 by TKO, and that's a rough spot there for Almeida. He's young, he's only 26, really exciting guy. So I'm thinking they'll probably give him another fight. They'll probably give him I'm hoping they give him a couple confidence building fights, give him some guys that, he could style on, he could show off his aggressive striking and get a couple knockouts, get some confidence back because he's a young guy. He's really entertaining, really fun to watch, and you don't want those type of guys to really lose their confidence terribly and just retire, never get their chin back, something like that. So I just hope they groom him well, give him someone that he can build his confidence on next. But Rob Font, man, shit, that guy keeps flying under the radar and he keeps beating the fuck out of people, man. That guy has a lot of UFC finishes. I think that's his fourth KO in the UFC or TKO. All his fights in the UFC are wins by finish, and shit, man, Rob Font cemented himself right up there in that top 10. He has to come back and fight another guy up there in that top 10, man, because Rob Font's the real deal. Smooth striking on the outside, starting to integrate some takedowns. A lot of the Boston guys did really good there. We'll be talking about them later, but yeah, man. So now Almeida had that TKO. He had the TKO over Matt Schnell as well, Joey Gomez, and George Roop. So, yep, 4 KOs in the UFC along with the submission over Silva de Andrade. So, Rob Font's a problem, man, the real deal. And, yeah, so that was a great fight. Great finish. And then we moved on to, I don't know what the fuck this was, man, but Villante coming forward and Barroso just running away, man. You're just backing up. I mean, I saw that's how he fought in his usual fights, but at least he would eventually try to land the overhand right or try to get a takedown or something, man. It seemed like he was just so shell-shocked in this fight, and I would find myself hard-pressed to keep Francimar in the company. I'm really kind of shocked that he stayed in the company as long as he did, but with 2 straight losses now, I think that, and that terrible performance, I think that he's going to be getting cut from the company, and rightfully so, man. You can't be on a pay-per-view where people are already questioning your position on the pay-per-view and then fight like that, man. Just fight with no aggressiveness, just make a completely boring fight, and yeah, man. So Villante was doing his normal thing, man, walking him down. It did seem like he had some better cardio this fight, but he didn't get pushed at all, so didn't really get to see much out of Villante either, but Villante got the win. He gets to keep his career, gets to, keep his name value, keep himself in that top 15, and good to see him get a win in New York, Boston area, but other than that, that was one of the lowest level fights on the whole card, and they had it on the main card, which was a little bit disappointing, but all the other fights on the main card were all great fights, so. And then, up next was, Calvin Kattar against Shane Burgos, and shit, man, this was a hell of a fight. Calvin Kattar, I thought, came out strong. He was landing a good jab, good straight punches. Burgos was coming in with heavy pressure, controlling the center of the cage, moving Kattar around the outside, and he was landing some nice body shots, man, nice low kicks as well, and really using some heavy pressure, and just not allowing Kattar to get off, not allowing him to come forward. But the thing is, he was getting lit up as he was coming forward. But then in that second round, he started to really start to come forward, get busy with combinations, head, body, head, and leg kicks. He was hitting him with the right hand, and then, he really started to beat him up that round. That was a great round for Burgos, and I had it 1-1 going into that third round. And in that third round, Burgos came in again with that heavy pressure, he hit him with a leg kick, right hand, but he was holding his hands real low in the pocket, and Kattar was making him pay for it all night with the straight right hands, and he hit him with one really nice, man. Burgos stumbled forward. He was trying to get like a takedown type thing, or really dive for a takedown, and Kattar hit him with a beautiful uppercut, man, really greatly timed, and then hit him with another uppercut, and then was just pouncing on him, was beating him up, and Miragliotta ended the fight, and that was a pretty good stoppage, man. I know that he got up and he was wobbling around at the end of that, but he was in some big trouble there, and definitely think that was a good stoppage. And Calvin Kattar, man, that guy came in the UFC as pretty much an unknown. I mean, I didn't know about him, and now he's 2-0 in the UFC. Back-to-back wins against pretty high-profile guys. Guys sitting right outside the top 15. And it's time to give him a top 10 guy, man. It's time to see if Calvin Kattar can move up to that next level, because I really think he can, man. I really think Calvin Kattar's a future title challenger, contender, if you want to say. And Shane Burgos too, man. Shane Burgos showed a lot. He showed that he's not going to stop moving forward. He showed really nice slick shots to the body, but he just needs to work a little bit more on his technical striking, a little bit more on his defense. And he'll be back as well. I think that he's also a pretty good prospect. But now we're moving on to the big fights, man, the title fights. In this first round against DC, man, Ozdemir came out hard, right? He was landing some big right hands, some big shots, but you could just tell there's no way that Ozdemir could keep up that pace and that pressure, man. And DC started fucking tagging him, man. He was hitting him with the jab, then tagging him with the overhand right. And DC was throwing bombs, dude. And, by the end of that round, DC took him down, took his back, and had a rear naked in that, was over. The fight was over, but there was about 10 seconds left on the clapper. And, Ozdemir was able to survive, get to the second round. But you just saw that once DC saw that he could hit that single leg on Volkan, went right back to it in the second round, got the single, and it was over, man. He took him right down, went right down to side control, got a mounted crucifix, and just was landing some real brutal heavy elbows. And, Ozdemir wasn't rocked, he wasn't out of it, but McDonald just had to stop because he was completely trapped, man. And DC got another win, and shit, man, I'm a huge fan of this guy. I find him to be one of the best ever. I mean, if you look at the names that he's beaten just on his run recently, where he's beaten Anthony Johnson, Alexander Gustafsson, Anderson Silva, Anthony Johnson again, and now Volkan with the no contest with John Jones in between. But, John Jones he never got a fair shot against John Jones. DC did, in my opinion. So it's really hard to fault him for that. And everyone else, man, he's took clean out. He beat the shit out of him. He's been getting a lot of finishes recently. Finished Volkan, finished Anthony Johnson twice. finished Dan Henderson. You know, this guy's a beast, man. He's one of the best ever, and I'm really glad that the fans are starting to give him his just due. They're not booing him as much. It seems like he's getting a bit of a better reception out there, and he deserves it, man. He's a great guy. He's champion, good role model for the sport. He talks well on the microphone. He does everything that you would want a champion to do, man. He builds fights in a respectful way, but he could still have a mouth on him, still talk. Family man, really good for the sport. You know, overall, it was a great victory for Daniel Cormier. Held on to his belt again, and you know, we're gonna keep on rolling. I know he said he's gonna retire when he's 40, but hopefully he gets some big fights. We know they were talking about Stipe versus DC. That would be a fight I would love to see, man. Shit. I don't know, man. That'd be a real interesting fight too. I don't know. I would have to look down and watch a film for that one, but shit, man. I would love to see that. I would love to see if DC can be a 2-division champion, see how truly good Stipe is, you know. And Volkan, you know, he moved up the ranks really fast. DC's getting old. He's definitely going to be a factor in that division for a long time, man. He came in hard. He was really trying to get the finish out there early, and he didn't have the worst showing. You know, he was showing some good takedown defense early on, some good striking, and you know, he just was outclassed, outmatched, and you know, simply just DC was the much better fighter that night, and the much better fighter overall right now in his career. So, no shame in that loss for Volkan. Volkan will probably be back, I assume, fighting for a title before the end of his UFC career. You know, he's young, he's improving, and he's good as well. But now we're on to the main event, man. The shit that everyone was talking about, everyone wanted to see, and fuck, did not disappoint, dude. Ngannou, man, that guy is just scary to watch, right? I mean, he lost every round, and I was fucking exhausted and nervous watching that dude. Like round 3, man, he was getting his ass whooped, you know. He took him down like 25 seconds in. He was holding him against the cage. He didn't land like anything. Lands one fucking punch and rocks the shit out of him with the right hand, man. With the right hand, excuse me. And I was like, oh my god, like this guy, he could be completely exhausted, not doing anything for the whole round, lands one punch and you're out cold, you're rocked. I mean, this guy is scary, dude. Francis, for everything that he was exhausted, he was on his back and fucked up. He was a scary guy. I mean, scary to watch, man. I was exhausted watching him, man. It's like, woo, like you're getting a little nervous whenever you see that guy move his hands. You're like, oh fuck, like here it comes, you know. And shit, Stipe was able to fucking corral that guy, take him down, fucking alligator wrestling him, man. You could tell early on he was just holding his head down. He was just trying to wear him down, man. He wasn't trying to put himself in any position where he's gonna lose that position by trying to go for anything super heavy. You know, but then as he started to wear on, and Ngannou, you could see, really started to get gas. He was landing some fucking hammers on him on the ground, man. He was really rocking Ngannou, not rocking Ngannou, just like hitting him hard as hell. And Ngannou really impressed me with his chin, with his heart, with his ability to keep coming out for the 4th and 5th round when you could tell he was completely exhausted. But man, this was Stipe's night again, man. He came in with a great game plan. He was getting in on the legs of Francis Ngannou, making him work, making him think. And Ngannou had trouble defending those single legs, man. And when he realized that and he was able to get him down, you know, he kept going back to it. And he kept going back for these big double leg drives as well. He would drive him almost across the whole cage to take him down. But you know, Stipe's the man, dude. He was winning on the feet as well after the first couple minutes. Like Stipe said, I think Francis was shocked that he couldn't get him out of there, man. Francis came out, and I don't know very many people that can survive those first couple minutes with Francis, man. He was swinging haymakers. He was moving forward, and you could tell this first 3.5, 4 minutes, Stipe didn't want anything to do with trying to take him down, trying to engage with him. He was moving around, man. You don't want to fuck with that guy the first couple minutes. That's a big guy. But shit, man, that was one of the best fights, man. That was a really awesome fight. Just to see just the Stipe just control that guy with the sheer size of that guy. That was just such an awesome feat to see, man. And Stipe's arguably the GOAT, man. I would love to see him versus Cain Velasquez. Um, him versus Fedor in his prime. I actually think, I don't know, man. I might still favor Fedor to win that fight, but at this point it's getting really difficult to not give Stipe his just due. He's incredible, man. And Francis is gonna come back. Francis definitely. I don't know. I don't know anyone that could survive those first 3 minutes of the Francis, man. Maybe Verdum. I think Velasquez definitely would be able to take it to Francis after seeing that Stipe fight for sure. But, man, he's still a factor. He's still someone that's up there that I would have won a fucking fight. That guy is scary, bro. Like, shit. And then did you guys see the end of the fight where Dana was trying to put the belt around Stipe? He just took that shit from him and gave it to his coach to put it on him. That was a little bit interesting, Stipe and Dana been having the back and forth in the media, and Stipe didn't want Dana to put the belt around his waist, it seemed like, and then he had some interesting comments saying that those guys respect him and that's why he did that, where almost insinuating maybe Dana White doesn't show him the respect that he deserves, which I think is true, man. They completely marketed this fight all around Ngannou. Didn't give Stipe any, really much love at all. And it's pretty obvious, pretty blatantly obvious. And I think Stipe could feel that. And I think that he put it to him, man. He stuck it right back in their faces. And I'm sure Dana White wasn't extremely pleased with that outcome, man. He wanted to go in there and say, hey, fuck it, let's do a 6th round. He wanted to do everything in his possibility to get Francis the win there. But, Stipe held on to the belt, and that's 3 defenses, man, and you got to hand it to him, man. You got to give him the title for sure of best UFC heavyweight of all time, and whether he fights DC, whether he fights Cain Velasquez next, I really hope he gets the push and the the respect that he's looking for and deserves, honestly, because he deserves it, man. He just took out Francis Ngannou. He took out the guy that you guys were building to beat him, man. So now you got to give him his credit, man. If you can't beat him, join him, But I'm gonna go over the rest of the card just really quick. And the fight before the main card was Kyle Bochniak against Brandon Davis, and that was a kind of a not the funnest fight that I've ever seen. Brandon Davis was not nearly as active as I saw him on the Contender Series for Dana White. He seemed like he was a little bit stuck in the mud, but it was still a very, very close fight. I know a lot of people gave Davis the 3rd round, and I know some people gave Davis the 1st round. But I thought that Bochniak deserved to win. Davis definitely won the 3rd round in my opinion, just because he was able to, just land a couple hard punches, exploding, coming forward, hands by his waist, and he was just kind of trying to bait Bochniak in, and Bochniak was still trying to wrestle, man. That was one of his big game plans for this fight, and he was able to get it done. That was one of the ones that we got wrong on this card, and Kyle Bochniak got it done. He kept his job as well, and he was a Boston guy too, so that was a big win for him. Now he's, I think, 2-2 in the company, gets to keep his spot, and Brandon Davis, he'll be back. They'll give him another fight. He's a fun guy to watch. I didn't think he showed his full arsenal out there in this fight. And then up next, we had one of the fights that was on our parlay of the week, and it was Abdul Razak Alhassan versus Sabah Hamasi. And this one kind of how I thought it would go, man. Both guys came in freaking throwing bombs right away, man. And Hamasi was getting leg kicked hard early. And then, he started to kind of throw bombs, right hand. And Hamasi was kind of rocking him at first a little bit, and he was connecting with some shots, man. And then he was trying to take him down. You could tell he started to get a little bit uncomfortable when he saw that Alhassan was eating his shots and still coming forward. And, on the feet, Alhassan started to connect with some heavy shots, and he put Hamasi on the back foot. And he loaded up on the right hand and just fucking laid waste to him with a clean uppercut, man. That uppercut was disgusting, man. And Alhassan got the finish. They were talking shit back and forth all build up to this fight, the whole lead up due to the early stoppage on the last fight that Hamasi thought. But Abdul Razak Alhassan got the clear victory now and, put it to rest. And, I think Sabah Hamasi will get cut, and I think, Abdul Razak Alhassan will move on to bigger and better things. But, up next, we had Dustin Ortiz against, Alexandre Pantoja, and this was a very, very close fight, man. The first round, Pantoja was able to get his back and, control him, attack with the rear naked choke, but really nothing happened in terms of damage. It was all just basically back control by Pantoja. And then in round 2, it was all about Dustin Ortiz. He was using double legs, making Pantoja uncomfortable, underhooks, taking him down, changing levels, and just outworking him, out-muscling him, out-hustling him, and he won that second round off that purely. And then in the third round, it was a good round. Pantoja was shooting for a takedown early. His corner wanted him to get on top, and he did, man. He got on top, he took the back, and he was able to hold the back for, quite a while, maybe about a minute, 30 seconds, 2 minutes. And Ortiz, at the end of the round, with about 2 minutes left, he was able to, scramble back to his feet, get a single leg, and then he was really beating up Pantoja. He was putting it on him and landing some really big, hard shots, knees to the body, shots to the head to end the fight. And I think that's what swayed the judges, man. I think that's what gave Ortiz the win, was the fact that Pantoja was using a lot more control while he was the one that ended the fight with some big damage and things like that. And that's what got him the win 2-1. It was a very close fight. Could have went either way, but Dustin Ortiz gets the win. And, Dustin Ortiz has made his living off beating those up-and-comers, man. He's, besides Brandon Moreno, that was the only one to get it, man. But he beat guys like Ray Borg, guys like Justin Scoggins, guys like Zach Makovsky and Hector Sandoval, and now Pantoja, man. So he's beating a lot of, up-and-coming prospects, and he keeps his position, in that top 10. And now it's 2 wins in a row for Dustin Ortiz. He's looking better than ever, and I think it's time again to bump him up, maybe give him another, upper echelon guy, see how he does with someone, in that top 10, top tier. And Dustin Ortiz has been hanging around for a long time in the UFC, man. He's really been able to put himself in and have a pretty good career. And then for Pantoja, Pantoja, that was a tough loss, but close decision. He's a fun fighter, man. Really good jiu-jitsu, good striking, so he'll definitely be back. I think that he could beat a lot of guys. I just think that he has a deficiency with takedown defense, and anyone that can really, grind him out, put it to him for all 3 rounds, have great cardio. And I think they're going to be a problem for Pantoja in his career, but Pantoja definitely is a beast. He definitely could beat a lot of guys, and he's going to be a factor in the UFC for a long time, too. I think Pantoja's definitely proved himself to be a, worthy fighter. And then up next, we had another great fight, good decision. I don't know why I thought it was a finish. It was, but Julio Arce beat Dan Ige, and really, Ige started off pretty good, man. He was pressured forward, being able to get in on takedown attempts and at least make Julio Arce work to defend him. And he was, moving forward, staying in his face probably the first 4 minutes of that fight, winning the fight. And then Arce was able to land a big shot and really rock Ige. And after that, completely changed the fight. Ige was a little bit more tentative to come inside, and he was just getting lit up on the outside by Arce. And Arce had some really nice, really clean striking. He's over at Tiger Schulman's, and another hometown guy, and great performance, man. Dan Ige's tough. There was a couple times against the cage where he was getting rocked and lit up, and I was thinking he maybe was going to collapse, just give up the fight, and he never did, man. He always was in there. He was throwing hard. He would throw back hard shots to show the ref that he was still there, and made it to the final bell. Those Hawaiians are tough, and 2 guys coming off Dana White's Contender Series, and they'll be back. They'll both get some good fights. Arce's striking looks really crisp, really nice, and be fun to see him against another striker, maybe in the division, something like that. And up next we had Enrique Barzola versus Matt Bessette, and this was I wouldn't say a close fight. I would say Barzola probably won 30-27. But, it was an interesting fight. Barzola didn't come with his, as good a game as he usually does, in my opinion. It seemed like he was a little bit flat. The way that he was backing up, I just really didn't like that. He was backing up kind of with his hands down, giving Bissett a chance to unload with kicks, and Bissett was landing some decent kicks at times. He was landing some head kicks, some kicks to the body, and he had a pretty good showing for himself on short notice to be able to go in there and do that, but he just could not stop the takedowns when Barzola really went for him. And when Barzola would go for the takedowns against the cage, he was able to, get his hands together and pick up and slam Bissett more often than not. And that was really the story of the fight, and that was what I expected. And he was another guy that was part of our parlay, and he also won as well. So that was good. And I think Matt Bissett will definitely be back. He definitely showed like he had some pretty good finishing skills, man. He could maybe knock some guys out, but off of his back, he didn't show much, man. He was just getting dominated on his back, just laying there. And like I said, I didn't think it was the best performance for Barzola, but that's now 3 in a row for Barzola. And in my opinion, I would say he's 5-0 in the UFC. That loss to Bochniak was just bullshit. So, I mean, being 5-0 in the UFC, I mean, it's time for a step up for that guy. It's time for him to get a name guy, a high-level guy, and he deserves it as well, man. That guy's a beast. He's never going to stop coming, and he has some great cardio, great takedowns. And even though he didn't have the greatest performance in his last fight against Bissett, you have to remember that, he had to get his opponent switched last minute, and that could have been a factor. He was getting ready for Arnold Allen. And Matt Bissett isn't a slouch either, man. And he won easily. He still dominated the fight, but I would like to see a little more from Barzola in the future, a little bit better striking. But up next, we had another sick knockout, and this was Islam Makhachev, and shit, man, he landed a really nice overhand left right on T-Bow's chin, man, and just stopped him. T-Bow went stiff about a minute into the fight, and that was the return of T-Bow off of a USADA suspension. And, that was not the greatest return for T-Bow to have, get knocked out cold. Now he's lost 3 in a row officially in the UFC, and that was tough, man. That was tough to see him just get knocked out stiff like that. Makhachev called out Kevin Lee after that, and, I would love to see that fight. I think that would be awesome, but Makhachev is the real deal, man. That was a really nice KO. That was his first KO in the UFC and his first KO in a long time. I think I heard Ariel Hawani said that was his first KO since 2011. So, good for Islam, man. Islam had that one-punch knockout, and he was our most confident pick of the night, and he ended our parlay. So we're 2 for 2 on the year so far in our parlay of the week. So that's good. Hopefully we can keep that going. And, overall, this was a very good main card for the first pay-per-view of 2018, man. I really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed the Stipe versus Francis fight. I mean, who the fuck would have thought that went to a decision, man? I mean, I don't think anyone in the world would have thought that went to a decision, but that was a great fight. And DC kept his belt. The Ralph Font knockout on Almeida was just nasty. The Cater knockout was nasty. I mean, great night of fights, man. And look forward to next week. I'm going to be trying to do my video tomorrow and or Tuesday, but keep you guys posted on that, and subscribe for more. And I hope you like these videos, and I hope you liked the video as well yesterday. And I forgot to say we went 7-4 yesterday on the picks overall, and 2-0 in the parlay of the week, and 2-0 in the most confident picks. So we're doing pretty good so far to start 2018. Hopefully we can keep it rolling. And once again, guys, thanks for watching, and subscribe for more. I'll see you guys later.